Hey y'all. Today I want to show you the settings that we want to use for Adobe Photoshop, more specifically in the user interface. So user interface is what you see when you open the application and where all the tools are and what your pasteboard looks like and all that kind of stuff. So to start, we're going to go ahead and open Photoshop. I have hopefully already taught you how to pin it to the taskbar. This is the taskbar across the bottom. My application or my desktop is all going to look slightly different than yours because I'm using a different version on this is my personal computer when I'm making it. So, but it should still look the same across the taskbar. So go ahead and click on the Photoshop. And what happens when you open Photoshop is there's usually a bunch of little thumbnails, is what they're called, these little bitty images of different pages and stuff like this that we have accessed in the past. The problem with that is, more specifically in Adobe InDesign, when we try to open it through that, which is the completely wrong way, and we'll talk about that later. But so what I want to do is I want to go ahead first and foremost and kill this look when we open this. So what we do is we need to go up to Edit, and we'll go all the way to the bottom to Preferences, and then we're going to scoot all the way up here to General. And we're going to uncheck Auto Show the Home Screen and say OK. But the problem with this is it doesn't just go away, and you can't just close it and think that it's going to go away. Already tried that a few times. So what we have to do is we have to actually open a document. So we're going to go to File and Open. And over here on the left, you should have someplace in here, should be probably in this PC right there. There's going to be a folder for pictures. So click on that and just open whatever picture. So I'm going to open that picture, and as soon as I open that picture, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to close that picture. And lo and behold, there's what we have. So I'm going to close the application. And then I'm going to open the application again, and this time it's going to open without all of those little thumbnails, and it's just going to be the blank screen. And then we're going to start addressing the blank screen. So when you first open your Adobe Photoshop for the very first time, you are going to have over here, this is the tools, and across here is all the different options. Now, mind you that these options are based on the tool that you have selected. So if I change this, see how they change over here? If I change this, a few of them change this. So these are the options for each one of these tools, okay? And then over here, these are some of the different palettes that we have. So if you don't mind, go up here and we're going to check and make sure that this is set to Essentials. That's where we're going to start. There's some of the different things that are not typical. I'm going to go back to this one 3D thing. You can check the motion. You can see what all these, this is just some of that different stuff. Photography doesn't really give us all of the stuff that we really need, so we're just going to go back to the Essentials. So even on the Essentials, it doesn't usually have this one, I'm going to say it, and I don't think it usually has this one, and it might not even have this one. So if we start with this, if you think of this right here as basically a street, maybe a street that you live on. And in each one of these little squares, so if you see there's a little grip right there, so that right there that's outlined in blue, consider that like a little house. And in this house we have two people that live in here, and they're related. And this one is related in the sense that this is typography character and this is typography paragraph settings. So these two brushes are related to each other because this is the actual brush, what it looks like. And then here are the settings and how you can change all those brushes. So right here, this is more of the options and all this kind of stuff. You can close it off of there. I never do it that way. This right here forces it back. It doesn't fast forward it. It just forces it back over. So go back into your house kind of sort of thing. So the same thing, layers. Layers is very, very important. You will use this one a lot. So we're going to put him back in his house, and these two are related because they both pertain to color. So go back in your house and you go back in your house. But if you see this, they also pop up, everybody, all of them that are in this family or in the house, all of their tabs come out. So you can close it on that one. See, there's only layers in this one. Go back in your house. This one I open and both the brush settings and the brushes are going to pop into this one, and likewise with this. Okay, so but there's some other ones that we need to have set up in this one, and all of these things can be found underneath Windows. So see down here, if we turned off the options, this top bar goes away, and we're going to go back under Windows. We're going to go back down here and we'll turn off the tools. And that's kind of hard to do Photoshop without the tools, so we're going to turn those two back on. We go back to our tools, and we're going to go back to our options, and over here are the different palettes. So these are all of the palettes between these two little things. So we're not going to be doing anything with 3D. Actions are a cool little script thing. This right here is going to make him go back into the house, and then we need to move the house over onto the street. Okay, so this is our little palette street, if you will. Okay, so we've already got the brush settings and the brushes out. We don't use channels a whole lot. We've already got character out there, character style. That's not something that we're going to use. Cloning we're not going to use up here. Color is already out there. Glyphs is something that we will possibly use with some of the different fonts that we have. This is one of the fonts that we're going to be using this year's typewriter, but there's no glyphs on typewriter. This is a different font that we have that has that. So we're going to grab a hold of this little control handle thing here, a little grip tape, and we're going to put it over here. See how it turns that to blue? It's got a blue outline. If I go here, it's going to pop the whole thing out. Not what we want. Okay, so we're going to make sure that it goes in the typography family, or in the typography house, and then we're going to drop it down over there. Okay, so there's our glyphs. There's our paragraphs, and there's our character. They all pertain to typography. So we're going to go to Window again. Got to the glyphs. We don't need the gradients. Histogram, we don't need. History, we don't need. Info, layer comps, layers, we already have those out. Learn, if you ever want to go in here, you want to learn anything, any kind of questions and stuff that you have, it's a good tool to use. This guy is going to make him go inside his house, and then we can get a hold of the learn. I am not going to bank him in on the street. If you want to, you can go ahead and do so. If you do, please put him down at the very bottom. Okay, so if I come over and I need to help you, I look for tools in these specific places. Okay, that's why I'm telling you where to put them. Window, let's keep going down. Learn, we were done. Okay, the libraries is one that we will use, especially because we're going to be doing color picking this year out of our pictures, which is a different concept that even those of you that are returning aren't familiar with. So we're going to take the library and we're going to put the library up here up top. So I'm just still got a hold of it. Click it over here. We don't want it in the color family, color in the color house. We want it on its own. So we're going to pop it up there up top so it's just a solid bar. And actually I want the layers to be up there between the two of them. Not in that house and not in that house. I want it in between those two houses. Okay, so then we're going to go into the windows. We got the libraries, modifiers, navigator, paragraph is already out there. We don't need paragraph styles. Past patterns, properties we don't use, shapes we don't use, styles, swatches are already up there, timeline, tool presets, and that's pretty much everything that we need. Okay, so we don't have to keep coming out here every time we open this, just so you understand. You're logged into your Adobe Creative Cloud. That's what gives you access to Adobe Photoshop. Now, unlike Google, when you sign into when you sign into Adobe, not all of your settings for all of your apps come with you. So on Google, you can be on one computer, you can be on your Chromebook, and then you can be on a PC, and then you can go to another PC, and you can go home and use your PC at home. Just so you know, you can't put anything Adobe on your Chromebook. But anyway, so when you sign into any of your Chrome browsers, anywhere you go, all of your settings come with you, right? I know everybody just said, okay. But on Adobe, it's PC specific. So all of these settings that we're going to set right now, and where we've just placed all of this stuff, it will not come back open when you go to another PC, even if it's in the same classroom. It's not going to come with you. You're going to have to set all this stuff up by yourself. So that's why I'm making a video, so you can look at it and figure out how to do it. Okay, so how do we make sure that every time we open this computer that it stays the same? So we're going to go right up here to this little drop down. It's called a caret. So you're going to go and you're going to create a new workspace, and I'm going to call it Reg's Workspace. Okay, so keyboard shortcuts, those are all going to come with the application. We're not going to say that one because we want to capture in this workspace panel locations, because this is over here, this is up here, and these are down here. The panel locations will be saved in this workspace. Keyboard shortcuts, menu, and toolbar options are optional. We want the menu set where they are, and we want the toolbar set where they are. We want them to stay in these locations. So we're going to click Save. Now, if you ever have to rename it, I don't know if you caught this when I clicked this first, there's already a workspace named Reg's Workspace. That's okay, it's because I do it all the time. So I'm going to say yes, I want it to replace it. And so now, if you come out here and let's say you're using the brush settings, but you want to go back and forth straight away between these two and you're doing whatever you're here, because especially on the Tiger, we're going to be using brush settings and stuff. So I click out of that one and put that one back in this house. And then we do something with the type and some of the fonts and stuff. So we pull the glyphs out and we're working on these, whatever the font is. Here's the different fonts that we use. And I can't remember the name of the one that we're going to have for the Tiger this year. But anyway, so you can go in and you can use all these things. If you click the X, you're not putting him back in the house. Okay? You're getting rid of this window is going to go away. Okay, you can minimize it, make him a little small, or you can click the X and he's gone. Okay, we pull out the paragraph, we're doing something back and forth between the type, then we do something with the paragraph, we click the X, and he's gone. He's not going back in his house. This one's going back in their house. Okay, so now you're missing half of these things. So where are they? Pretty easy. Right up here. You can go find them back up here again, and click and drag and put it back in the font house. Oh, but what about those glyphs? Okay, there's a whole bunch of them. Okay, here's the easy part. This is why I have you build that new workspace. Click on here, and you go Reset Reg's Workspace. And all of those come back right where they were. Exactly in the same locations and everything. So, that's the deal with Workspace and User Interface. This whole thing is considered the user interface. And that is what you need to have set up for your Photoshop.